Hi everyone, it's Morgan from For the Love of Paper, and I'm here to share with you this little art journal page that I have recently completed. I'm using a few of my newer supplies, some things that I haven't used before or tried out before, which is a bit fun. And yeah, so I've got the Dylusion stamp set that I want to use, and I've also got this tissue paper that is from, I cannot remember, I think it's Jane Davenport. Yeah, it's Jane Davenport, so they're her tissue things. So I'm using those, and I just had a bit of a play around. I had no idea what I wanted to do going in. I knew I wanted to use those stamps, but the rest of it sort of just happened organically as I went along. So first of all, prepping my page with some white gesso, and I put quite a bit on there. Yeah, I don't know why, but I did have to let it dry for a while because it was quite thick on the page. Then I went and got some sprays, and I've got a yellow one, a pink one, and a blue one. I will leave a link to my blog post in the description box below, and on there I will have all of the different colors and products that I used as well. So if you do want to reference something, then you can do that. So I sprayed on the colors, and then I added some water from my little spray bottle. I didn't really know what sort of effect I was going for, but when I did it, I realized it was just a bit too much. I didn't want it quite that bright, so I just went and got a baby wipe and mopped up a little bit of the spray inks that were on the page, and I think it gave a pretty cool effect in the end. I was really happy with how that came out. It wasn't too bright, which was nice. Just add a little bit more to that top corner. Now, while I was doing this, I was actually talking to my sister on Skype, so here you can see me holding it up. I was holding it up to show her. And that we had been talking about making flowers out of old baby wipes that we'd seen on Marta that does the small art. She had done these really cool baby wipe flowers, and we'd been talking about that, so that's why I was showing her that one, that I thought it would be pretty cool to make a flower out of with all those colors. Then I just got strips of the tissue paper and just laid them out onto the page. I was going for like a diagonal line sort of across the page, and then I felt like it needed a few little extra bits. I think I put a strip up the top. Yeah, I cut another bit off. And I'm using gel medium, clear gel medium, to stick this down. And I realized this is not the right product to use because it does sort of lift the color of the sprays underneath. So it did start to bleed a little underneath. I probably should have put gesso over the color again before I used the gel medium, but lesson learned. And it actually turned out kind of cool because there was a few little patches where you could see the ink come through onto the tissue paper. But if you don't want that to happen, gel medium is not what you should use. And do I add another little bit of tissue paper. Kind of made an arrow shape looking back at it now. And this was some muslin, green muslin material that I think I'd got in a kit at some point, I think. And I just wanted a bit of texture on the page, so I decided to stick that down in a couple of different spots, which is something different, something I had not used on a layout or an art journal page before. And it looks really cool. It does give a pretty cool texture to the page. Sorry, little mister is playing down on the floor while I'm doing this voiceover. The other two boys have gone out, and I've got the baby, and he's crawling around. I don't know what he's doing. He's actually got one of my Ranger sponge dauber things. He thinks that's pretty cool. Sorry. Anyway, that's the noise in the background. So I waited for that to dry, and then I went and got out the stencil, and this one was an old Amy Tangerine one, and I used a bit of texture paste, and then I mixed in some more of the yellow spray, the one that I had used on the background. This one has come out a bit brighter, obviously, because it was a lot more concentrated. And then I just add this little flower to the bottom corner. I knew I'd wanted to put a flower on this layout. There was two things. I wanted to add the Dylusion stamps of the person or the girl, and I knew I wanted a flower on this layout. And I didn't know how I was going to get them on there, but I worked it out in the end. So yeah, this is just like a 3D texture paste flower. And now I move on to the stamps while the little flower was drying. So I just got some watercolor paper. It's only cheap watercolor paper, but it does the job. And I mount my stamps, and then I use StazOn ink so that it doesn't bleed. Like the Memento ink does bleed if you're going to use like water or pens on there. So definitely the StazOn, or the archival ink is good as well. In fact, I'm going to try some of that next. I think this ink pad has nearly run out, so I'm going to try some archival ink next. I haven't tried that before. So I stamped out a couple of these images, and then I realized I did not have a stamp block big enough for that huge stamp. So I kind of just put it on as best I could. Actually, do I even use it? I might not even use the stamp block. I might just ink it with my hand. Yeah, I do. Oh, there we go. Look at that. My genius way of stamping without a big stamp block. And then I do two of them because I knew that if I messed one up, I'd have to get it all back out again, because I do colour these in shortly. So, and I didn't end up messing anything up, so I've now got another set, which is pretty cool as well. And the pens that I use to colour these in were actually, it was really strange. It was something my dad got. I don't know how he got or why he got it. I can't remember. But he gave it to my son when we were over there in New Zealand last year. And they've been sitting on my desk, and everyone had kind of forgotten about them. And so I decided to pull them out and use them. They've got a brush tip, and I'm pretty sure you can mix. They're a water pen, so you can kind of do watercolors with them. And they're really, really neat. And I coloured her in lots of bright colours and pink hair, and the top of her head, the hat is like buildings, like all these little buildings. It's so fun. So again, I used the gel medium. Shouldn't have used it, but never mind. I didn't get it on the front side of the images, luckily, so it didn't bleed the colouring that I've done. So yeah, these watercolour pens, I'm not sure what their exact name is. It's got foreign writing on it, so I don't actually know what it says or what they're called. And just sticking that down. And again, I apologise for the background noise. He's found one of his toys and he's having a bit of a play. And a dance, actually. I wish you could see him. And now once I had this part done, I was going to put my little quote on, and I got the quote from the Soul Journey that I was doing this year, and this was one of the quote prompts that we had, and I started off by handwriting it onto my page. And if you've watched any of my videos before, you would have heard me say how much I hate my own handwriting. So first off, I don't even know why I decided to handwrite that on, but I did. And of course it came out absolutely terribly. It looked awful. And then I tried to do something a bit different and write in white for the last word. It says, don't forget to let your colours shine through the madness, or something like that. I can't remember the exact quote. And yeah, so then the white pen didn't work because it just sort of sunk into the background, and then I was just really not happy with any of it at all. So in a bid to, oh, there you go, then I got out a really thick black pen, and it just made it even worse. So that's when I decided I needed to rectify this entire situation that was going on. So I went and got a little little journaling spot label thing, and decided that could fit in there nicely. But then I was like, I'm only going to have to handwrite on it again, and that's not going to work. So maybe I'll add some inks to it. And I was going to edit this bit out, but then I decided that no, I'll leave it in so you can actually see how ridiculous some things end up, or how ridiculous I am with not liking what I create. So yeah, now I've got this little colourful bit of paper, and does that stick out like a sore thumb? You betcha, it surely does. So back to square one again. I was like, I can't have that on my page. It looks absolutely ridiculous. It doesn't blend in well with anything else. So I think I walked away and went and had some lunch, or went and did something else for a while, and came back and thought, well, I've got the tissues in the background. I could just add another one. And they've got colours and patterns on them, so it was fine. And there we go. Fixed up my little mistake. And as you can see, I've got my big giant roller stamp out, and that is how I'm going to do the little phrase instead. Got that paper. It ended up in the bin. I was so upset with it after all of this. So this is the giant roller stamp. It was from Stampin' Up. I'm not sure if they still sell it. They probably don't, because they change their products quite often. But yeah, I just spelt out all the words, or a couple of words at a time, and stamp them down. All the stamping's done. And then the last word in the phrase or the quote is colourful. So I got these little teeny tiny alpha stickers, and I spelt out colourful when I finally managed to get the stickers off the sheet. These were from Typo, and they're really old as well. Well used, but really old. So I used all of the different colours to spell out colourful, because I thought that was rather appropriate. And then I called this page done, guys, and this was a really fun page. I really, really enjoyed doing it. And I think I must have been bumping my desk then, because the camera is moving. Sorry about that. So yeah, that's this layout done. Thanks for watching. I will leave a link to my blog post below, so you can go and check that out and see all the different supplies that I used. And again, I apologize for all the background noise, but you do what you do when you've got kids. I am sorry. Yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time. Bye.